Okay, today's Wednesday. It's always the toughest day of the week. I'm on my way to the brewery right now. I just left there 8 hours ago. Been there for 29 of the last 48 hours. And I'd like to brew today. It's really hard on a day like this to stay focused and get a lot done when I have a lot to do. And today, my sporting cast might be a little weak, so I would imagine that the demands of the restaurant are gonna kind of cut into brewery time. But we'll hope for the best, because I do have something sort of exciting planned for the brewery side of things today. So we'll see if that'll come to fruition or not. But if they do, we'll be back for more. Okay, so I did find some time to brew today. As I mentioned on my way in this morning, that I had something interesting planned. This is a beer that I wanted to brew for a long time. I came up with the ideal, probably the same way that I come up with a lot of my crazy ideals. It came to me in a vision. And it's a beer that's centered around the name, which has happened a few times. Come up with a name, and the beer comes afterwards. It's called Hickory Chicory Bock, and what it is it's your basic bock, malty, rich, with chicory in it, which chicory has been historically used as a coffee substitute. It's a root. A lot of times, basically, as a cheap coffee substitute, but I've never had it or used it, but my understanding is it's a little bit more of a roasty flavor than coffee. I'm thinking maybe like a really bold, assertive coffee style. Going to add that kind of towards the end of the boil, and then I'm actually, after fermentation, going to age it on hickory wood, so we'll get some of the hickory notes, which I'm not exactly sure what that'll do either. I'm sure it's not going to be like aging in oak, where you get a lot of nice tannins and vanilla. So I'll probably be careful about that. I don't want to. I'm always kind of careful about adding things so that it's not too much, because I don't want to ruin it. This is one of the beers that I intend to serve birthday week. I think this will be the fourth one that I have ready. I'm about between 6 and 7 weeks away from the birthday week right now. I plan to have 6 beers, so I think this will be a good amount of time for this to ferment and age, and be able to get some of the hickory character from the wood. It'll sit on the wood long enough to get some nice notes from it. So you saw some of the you've seen some of the brewing process. I don't think I need to film all of the brewing process, but I'll definitely be back probably towards the end, and talk a little bit more about some of the additions, and we'll see how it tastes. Okay, so now comes probably one of the better parts of the day. I like to call it R&D. Last night you heard me talk about the end of the shift, the end of the day beer, which is absolutely, that is the best, that is the highlight of the day, is the end of the day beer. That means that I'm going home and getting some sleep. On a really good day, I make it home early enough that the wife is still awake and can have a beer at home. But in lieu of doing that, what I like to do is I like to kind of a happy hour beer. I sit with my pal Pete, the owner of the brewery, and today we have a very special guest. We're actually a trio. Pete to my left, and then my lovely wife Tracy to my right. We're all part of this R&D team. We're actually drinking something that only fan club members can get right now until tomorrow, the Keppen Farm Stout. Very good. It's creamy, no idea like a milkshake with alcohol, and so it's kind of a restorative beer. The only problem with the restorative beer is it does kind of hinder the workday a little bit, and being as fatigued as I am on a day like today, it makes it even harder to stay focused. So the afternoon beer is quite often followed by the afternoon 6th cup of coffee. But with us here, as I said, we had a little bit of a trio. We're joined by two fan club members, Kevin and Susan, right there. We were just talking about this early. When you talk about beer geeks and people who aren't as averse with beer terminology and the craft beer world, maybe don't know what beer geeks are. So in the dictionary next to beer geeks, Kevin and Susan. Been to pretty much every brewery in Michigan?
Yes, all but maybe 5, I think.
All but maybe 5. Pretty
My
impressive.
Christmas gift was a mash tun and a hot liquor tank, so, you know.
Okay, might start doing some brewing?
How it works out well.
Might start doing some...
all grain.
Some brewing at home, okay.
Definitely.
Gonna do some home brewing. And we earlier were talking about this, that you're fan club members or mug club members at... Multiple breweries?
4 or 5 at least, yes.
4 or 5 breweries. And they're very good customers here. You know,
4th Street is easily one of my favorite.
Okay, that's good.
One of the 2 that I would not give up.
Unsolicited endorsement right there. You know, for us as being involved with the brewery, we want lots of people to be the fan clubs or the mug clubs, and also unsolicited endorsement right there. So really, it's because the mug club member, the fan club member, really is the highest endorsement I think that a customer can give you, and so really Kevin and Susan feel that strongly about 4 or 5 places. I think that speaks to their beer geekiness. In some circles, they would be shunned, but not here. They are wholly embraced. Wholly embraced.
Well, I'm glad that he feels he can share our attention with multiple places. Mm-hmm. He knows that we have enough beer to drink, it's not just here that I need to be a mug club, but my beer drinking needs to be spread amongst multiple places.
Well, although you probably have seen me be jealous sometimes of you going to other places.
Never.
Not you.
As I have caught them at other breweries before.
Yes, we have.
And you know, I guess when it's busy, like this time of year, I encourage that, and I you know. But when we have slow periods, and I see them at another brewery, don't like it so much. I don't like it so much. I do get jealous, and I am a little possessive of
my fan club.
Yes, I don't like to share. I don't like to share.
Like his children.
That is a little kid.
Okay, so crazy. Ended up being just an absolutely crazy night. It was kind of like brewing with, while running a marathon with someone screaming in your ear and kicking you in the balls at the same time. That's sort of like the brewing conditions were today. So you had to miss all of the stuff that went on. Kind of fast forwarding now to the end here, where I'm running into the fermenter, and I did learn a very important lesson. This is the hickory chicory bock, and I learned something very important about using the hickory, and that's that you should use some sort of a straining bag to put the chicory in, because it really doesn't dissolve like you would think it would. And you can see, I'll pour it into a glass, you'll be able to see it a little bit better. Lots of chicory floating in the glass in there. And you can also see it in the fermenter. Oops. You can also see it in the fermenter there. Maybe you can. See along the sides of the fermenter there. Now it seems to be running a little clearer. That's good, that's better. There's a lot of chunks of chicory in there. But anyways, let me get a glass, and we'll taste it and see what it tastes like.